The third outing for Tom Holland's Spider-Man has proved a hit with critics, as early reviews have branded it his best work yet following the film's premiere in Los Angeles on Monday night. Spider-Man: No Way Home has so far received a rare 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a review aggregation website for film and television, giving an overview of critic and fan reception. The first wave of critics' reviews have suggested that Marvel fans are in for a treat, as Holland returns as the web-slinger alongside his leading lady Zendaya and a host of former Spidey villains. Deadline critic Pete Hammond hailed the film as the most exciting, surprising and emotional Spidey of them all, as he predicts it will wow fans and also return revenue to COVID-restricted cinemas. Hammond wrote, "This movie does what the best movies always do, they thrill you and move you and make you want to cheer in a crowded theater." In light of the pandemic, this movie is a holiday gift not only to moviegoers, but also to exhibitors, because if ever there was a film poised to save the movie business, just like Spidey always saves the day, it is this splendidly crafted endgame. He also referenced Wunderkind director John Watts and screenwriters Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, who he claims have created one of the year's best movies. Commending the actors' on-screen chemistry, Hammond said, "Holland, Zendaya, and Batalon are a priceless trio, and the various villains and others who pop in and out make this pure movie fun of the highest order. Fans will be in heaven." Predicting a mega payday for Marvel, he said, "This film will make $1 billion, and it deserves to." Franchise movies, Marvel movies, comic book movies, you name it, just don't get much better than this. Peter Desbruges, who was reviewing for Variety, also praised Watts' film and said he brought a welcome continuity to this latest trilogy, following previous outings from both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Desbruges said, "Spider-Man: No Way Home wrangles the unwieldy premise into a consistently entertaining superhero entry, tying up 2 decades of loose ends in the process." The critic said that the film carefully walks its audience through the logical loop-de-loops its plot requires, but otherwise sticks to a relatively straightforward idea of the multiverse. While most of the critics refused to give away any spoilers, as is typical with the Marvel franchise, many did reference the return of Spidey supervillains, including Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin and Electro. Desbruges said, "Superhero movies are only as good as their villains, and it's a thrill to be reunited with Doc Ock and Green Goblin again." Though the other 3 baddies were relatively disappointing in their original incarnations, this film focuses on the tragic dimension of their characters and their capacity for redemption. No Way Home doesn't pretend that the earlier films were perfect, poking fun at elements we can all agree were weaknesses, while also leaving room for the villains and Spider-Man alike to do some much-needed healing. The movie can be ungainly at times, and it's much too committed to setting up even more craziness to play out in upcoming Marvel product. These aren't standalone films so much as overloaded episodes, after all, but it provides enough resolution for the past 2 decades of Spider-Man adventures that audiences who've tuned out along the way will be rewarded for giving this one a shot. In contrast to other reviews, John DeFore for The Hollywood Reporter called the latest Spidey outing the least fun of the trilogy. However, he urged that it may be an intentional shift for the superhero. He wrote, "Spider-Man: No Way Home does use its multiversal mayhem to address the only real problem with the Holland-era web-slinger, the iron manification of the character, in which his already amazing powers keep getting overshadowed by the gadgets given to him by billionaire jerk hero Tony Stark. This is the least fun of the Watts Holland pictures by a wide margin, intentionally so, to some extent, but it's a hell of a lot better than the last Spidey threequel, Sam Raimi's overstuffed and ill-conceived. One of Dafoe's major issues with the film was that it lifts too much from animation hit Spider-Man into the multiverse, saying that rollicking, eye-popping adventure was so fresh, funny and exciting that No Way Home can really only look stodgy in comparison, relying on the novelty of faces we haven't seen in a while and building up to the kind of operatic emotional moments the previous Watts films tended to avoid. He concluded the review by admitting that the final scene brings lightness and hope to future Marvel films as he revealed his hopes for Holland to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a while.